going on, guys? Welcome to an episode of the Popcorn People podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the brand new film, The Apprentice, followed by talking about some of the movies and or shows that we have watched this week. As always, I'm joined by my partner in crime here, Mr. Dom Fisher. How are you, bud?
What's popping, Colonels? Man, I'm good, man. It's this is part of the year that starts to go really, really fast. This year's been a blur already. But even more now, October. I love Halloween, and it always seems to pop up a lot quicker than I expect. And then before you know it, it's Christmas, and we're elbow deep, eyeballs deep into award season. And we've already kind of jumped into. We've been getting sent stuff and through emails. I got the first Netflix box this week, so it's finna get real movie in here.
Yeah, for sure. And that's it's kind of crazy because it goes from 0 to 60 real fast, and it goes like really, really fast. And that's the crazy thing about this is there's so many movies to watch, so little time to do it, and so much trying to cover it all at the same time. But we do our best here to cover whatever we can. And as we shift into the season, these podcast episodes will be more focused on multiple movies as we're watching and consuming so many different things. So that is the fun part of the year. It is also at the same time the most hectic part of our year because we start to shift into award season, but it should be a lot of fun nonetheless. I also have a brand new segment that I'm going to introduce a little bit later to the show that Dom has absolutely no clue what in the hell I'm going to do. It's going to be a fun little segment that I'm going to start doing weekly. And but yeah, and if you have suggestions when the time comes, it'd be great to do it. But it's going to be a little bit of fun. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this movie review.
Ah, yes. Perfect timing with election season coming up to watch The Apprentice. Directed by Ali Abbasi, a young Donald Trump, eager to make his name as the hungry second son of a wealthy family in 1970s New York, comes under the spell of a cutthroat lawyer, Roy Cohn. Cohn sees in Trump the perfect protege, someone with raw ambition and hunger for success and a willingness to do whatever it takes to win. The film stars Sebastian Stan, Jeremy Strong, Maria Bakalova, and those are really the three you want to focus on. I'll go first on this one because I was very intrigued from the beginning, from when I heard about this movie. First off, Sebastian Stan is a great actor, phenomenal. And this case, it's no different. Knocks out the park. Jeremy Strong knocks out the park. Maria knocks. Like the performances are fantastic. But what's interesting to me about this movie is this movie can be viewed different ways. Now, some people who are diehard Trump supporters, right? They're going to watch this and say, see, he was manipulated by a person, and that's why he turned out the way he did. He's chasing daddy's love, and it put him into the arms of this cutthroat dude. But when you really, from a rational mind, from someone who tries to be objective when you're watching something like this, you can remember that Trump was a grown man when this takes place. So he may have had his daddy issues, but he wanted to be the person that he became. It's just the fact that he came across someone who was a little more of that person. And you get to see how a young Trump was. He was somewhat of a nice guy. He was trying to be by the book, but he realized by the book wasn't getting him what he wanted. So you find a guy who knows the ins and outs, who has the connections, who takes him under his wing to show him a world where he can get exactly what he wants when he wants it and live by these three crazy ass rules. You know what? it may be a somewhat of a spoiler, but I have a feeling a lot of people are not going to watch the movie. So I'll give you the three rules, right? Rule number one: attack, attack, attack. Number two: admit nothing, deny everything. And number three, no matter what happens, claim victory and never admit defeat. Now, could this potentially be somewhat of what the film tells you at the beginning? That some stuff is done for film flair. It's done to exaggerate things to make it, you know, give you that cinema effect, maybe. But also, we know this is exactly the plan of attack and what he's done over the years, and many people in these positions do all the time. No matter what, there's it's not my fault, it's somebody else's fault. Now there, because he is a person, no matter how you feel about him, he is a person, so there is a little bit of empathy at times where you go, oh, the family situation is the key thing of where you go, he was so uh he was so put down by his father all the time, and he saw the way his father was with his brother, that he had to prove himself. And it's been said many times before that a lot of him going forward is just trying to prove daddy wrong, right? And this movie kind of highlights that. It and essentially, besides that, the film isn't too much about anything besides the fact of how he got to be the person he is. Um, and what's crazy too is it's very much, if you look at this, it gave me Diddy vibes during the Diddy freak out party vibes during the movie, where you have these powerful people in the room and things are being, you'd have to see. I don't want to give away too much, but Diddy party should, I ain't gonna say the exact Diddy party type format, but there's things that will remind you of why Diddy's house was raided in this movie. And it does take place at kind of the kind of rise of the AIDS epidemic too, so it touches on that a little bit. Um, and you get to see some of the players that we see in the future that surround Trump. And Trump, you get to see how he, not only his evolving personality, but the things that he is uncomfortable with and may still be uncomfortable with. And what's really funny about um, uh, Cone, because Jeremy Strong, it's almost his movie. He's so good in this thing, and he's so kind of the most like vile type of person. But after while I was watching the movie, I happened to Google something, looking to see about Roy Cohn, because I knew the name, didn't know much about him. And you meet Roger Stone in the movie, and there's a quote by Roger Stone that says, Roy Cohn wasn't gay. He just liked having sex with men. And the funny thing is because there's um this notion that if you're a gay man, that they are weak or overly effeminate, and all these things they associate being gay with being more effeminate, and that's why they didn't see themselves as gay, which is can go be a whole nother kind of topic. So it's kind of just crazy to see how it all plays out. It's shot really well. I like the kind of fast-paced world we get to kind of see, kind of in the world of like a Wolf of Wall Street type of vibe. And yeah, it just, it breaks down who he is um, from a young age to, and you can see how it evolves into now. It's because it's Sebastian Stan, you're very engulfed in the movie. I mean, the mannerisms, the way he speaks, the hair, the way he moves his mouth is nuts. Like you look at that and you go, that's Trump, dude. Like how? But yeah, that it's I think it's one of those movies where it's for me, it's neither bad nor good. It's just like interesting. It's just to kind of see how that all played out. Some stuff you might know, some stuff you might not know, but yeah. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so you're a lot more what's the word I'm looking for? You're a little bit more kinder on the film than I am. From a perspective of a film, like let's talk about the filmmaking. I do think Abbasi's direction has some flair to it, right? I do think that his direction, I do like the fast pace moving of the film. I do think that it's a crisply edit film. I did love the editing. I think the switches, the boom, 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 boom. Again, it senses the urgency. But the big thing about that is that you're in New York, right? You have the fast paced elevation of New York. That's what makes movies in New York so much better because the atmosphere, the surroundings, the again, it's its own character, right? You know what I mean? Like New York, if you film a movie in New York, it's its own character, it's its own story, it's its own and it's plays an important part of Trump's story, right? You know, and it does have it play Trump Tower, the whole entire situation as we see him manipulate, move his ways into everything. It really just puts a picture esque type thing into the story of a lot of what we already knew, right? For me, this didn't bring anything new to the table. I really feel like it could have been a documentary and I'd have been perfectly fine with it. Like, because I don't think it adds anything more to a story of which that we don't already know. I don't think that I think the script is a little weak. I think the script doesn't have a lot of meat on the bone. And I think you even touched on that a little bit. Like it's a movie. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's not good, it's not bad, it's kind of in between. It's definitely led by some performances. There's moments I love Sebastian Stan as Trump, and then there's other moments where I'm just like, you know what I mean? Sometimes I felt like he forced the little mouth gesture. He was like, you know what I mean? I felt like that was forced a little bit here and there. But I do agree with you. To me, Jeremy Strong is the highlight of this film. His performance is insane, right? Especially those final moments. There's a scene where he kind of hunts down Trump in this alleyway where he's beginning the beginning stages of being very sick, right? And he kind of is like, hey man, like you fucking threw me out of the hotel. You know what I mean? Like what are you doing here? And it was that type of person that he had become, right? You know what I mean? Like they always joke, they always say, don't, step on people on your way to the top because what's going to happen, you know what I mean? And that's a perfect case and example. But because I mean, Roy Cohn at the end of the day really got what he deserved. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, he wasn't a good person either. Like let's not get it twisted. He wasn't a good person either, Nope. But yeah, it's an okay film. I think I ended up at like 2.5 out of 5 stars. I didn't love it. Didn't think it was great. Didn't think it was bad. You know what I mean? I'm like very neutral. Definitely something that I don't think you have to rush out the theaters to see. You could definitely wait to see that it comes on VOD. But if I'm looking at awards pictures, first off, if you've seen or have not seen A Different Man, that's the Sebastian Stan performance that you need to see, because to me, that still stands as probably one of, if not one of my favorite performances of 2024.
Yep.
He's amazing in that film. He's 10 times better in that film than he is in this film. I've seen people say that Stan's better in this film than that film, and it blew me away. First off, that film's 10 times better than this film is too, like top to bottom, crisply written. But if you're going to see a movie with Sebastian Stan this year, let it be A Different Man, because that movie is the movie. But yeah, I think it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? It's nothing groundbreaking, anything like that. But I do want to say something. I did think that you saw Piece by Piece this week. What did you think of
that? Piece by Piece, man. Okay, so it's like how would I put it? A nostalgic roller coaster playlist. If you grew up, if you're a millennial, there's no way you didn't hear a song either by Pharrell the Neptunes or Nerd, or produced by him. They're from Missy Elliott to Madonna, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Nelly. He's worked with so many different people. There's songs that I didn't even realize that he helped produce or he helped write. I mean, You know what? There's one really surprising like thing that he wrote. It's a jingle. I'm not gonna say which one it is, but I was like, holy shit, did not know. But it's told in a way and done in a way that only a film about Pharrell can be done, which is outside the box and doing this animated Lego movie, vibrant colors, musical. I mean, that is the whole movie screams Pharrell if you followed him through his career. And it takes you back. You're singing throughout the whole movie, and there's some really really fun moments because it does take place in the hip hop world, which is generally a rated R world. And this movie, I believe, is PG or PG-13, one of the two. There's some shits in there, but there's a specific scene with Snoop Dogg that they are able to do in a very creative way, as it's filled with weed smoke. But of course, they want kids to see this, so they don't show that it's weed smoke, but it's another kind of smoke that adults will get, and the joke is hilarious. It's a great movie. I had very like I don't want to say low expectations, but I was kind of like, I don't know. Like, I like Pharrell, but am I interested in his life? And I was blown away after the movie. This movie is for anybody, either even if you're, for kids, but even if you're an adult, if you feel like you're the odd man out or you feel like people don't get you, this is kind of like it's okay to march to the beat of your own drum and follow your own path, because if you're good at it, if you're good at your thing, people are going to follow you. People are going to find you. Um, and if especially for those who are religious, if you have a thing you want to do, if you put your trust and faith in, whatever God you believe in, you're gonna find your way. So it's great, man. There's really nothing bad I could say about it. It's definitely it's not. I wouldn't say that it's the best animated film of the year, but I definitely think that it's one of the top ones, but definitely one of the most creative ways to tell a biopic that I've seen in a long time.
I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see here. What else? What else have you watched this week?
Um, let's see, Terrifier 3.
Mm.
I saw that. Now, I love the Terrifier movies. I love, for me, as someone who doesn't really get scared by much, I tend to go to the gorier movies. The Terrifier movie is fun. It's hilarious. Like Art the Clown is he's such a good character because like I mean, someone who's over the top killing you for no reason and then kind of making jokes, that it just is funny to see. But I will say this one does feel a little too long. The story kind of drags a little bit. It was 2 hours and 5 minutes. It could have been an hour 30, hour 33. And it does leave it up open to more sequels. I believe they already got kind of greenlit for a 4 and a 5, maybe. But yeah, I mean, the kills are creative, the blood is everywhere. Art is art, and he is slowly making himself or slowly becoming one of the top horror icons. And it's crazy to say that in 2024 because there hasn't really been any. We've keep getting Michael Myers and more Freddy's and all these things over the years, but to have a new one who can cement himself, when you see like images of all the horror daddies, the Arthur Clown's going to end up being one of those. And I watched well, for the second time, Will and Harper. Dude, that is so good. And I think the movie is done so well because it's like it's a buddy film, but it's shot like a regular film, and it doesn't feel like a documentary style thing. It just feels like, I don't know, man. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely one of the best documentaries to watch. Because when you watch a documentary, it doesn't feel like one. That's amazing, and you don't get that very often. And this one is, them going across the U.S. to bring Harper into the world again, because Harper's nervous about how the world will take her in now because she's different. And you see when people are one on one, they're more open to being like, this is a person and I respect this person, than the group think that we see online. So it kind of gives you kind of like reinstall some faith in American society, that like, because they go to some places where you think like, oh, this is going to end up bad, and it doesn't. So it's beautiful to see, and shout out to Will and Harper for doing that, to like show people like the other side.
To me personally, I feel like that's one of the most important documentaries that we've had in recent time.
Yeah.
And to me, it's such a pivotal conversation. There's always the unknown, right? There's a lot of things. It's okay to like, it's not for me. It's like always been, you can't criticize something you don't understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't fully understand something or don't attempt to fully understand something, what exactly are you criticizing, right? And in this particular incident, like Will Ferrell's, like, I accept you, right? It was no questions, but there was questions within that, right? And to be vulnerable enough in the stature that you're at, right?
Yeah.
Will Ferrell is one of the biggest movie stars, and now runs a very profitable production company, right? You know what I mean? And produces lots of movies, So it's a conversation that's very essential, very important, and such a well made, you know what I mean? Because it is light. It is funny, right? You know what I mean? Will Ferrell is very funny in it,
Yeah,
but
they're
there's
both
also
really funny.
yeah, they're both Will and Hart, both very funny. There's funny elements of it. There's picking at the notion of some of the things that you do have questions on, and there is room for improvement, basically, in anybody. And at the end of the day, it's like, why do we consistently criticize people or situations that we don't understand? The situations that allowing people to be who they want to be, like.
Yep.
Why are we so worried about other people? Why are we so concerned with what they're doing? Why are we so worried about whether somebody wants to be this or that? It shouldn't be in the conversation at the end of the day, period. It's just, it's crazy to think that we're in society and we can't, civilize, have conversations that we're trying to restrict access, or we're trying to take away something from somebody. Like, what does that have to do with you? Like, nothing. Literally, it costs $0 to mind your own fucking business. You know what I mean? Like, it does. So
and I think, for people who would be skeptical of watching it, Will, because that is his best friend, ask the questions that you are curious about. If you are like on the fence or whatever your holdup is, about like, what did the kids call you now? Or, there's a scene that I think is really like, I'm glad they put it in. It's like a perfect like encapsulation of this scenario. Is they're eating some food, and Harper, I think, like says what she wants, and the person says, like, misgenders her, and she's like, "Oh no, it's ma'am," or I'm a woman, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." "Oh no, it's fine," because it's okay to make mistakes. Just don't. It's the people that double down and get defensive about the mistake. And simply Harper was like, "Oh no, it's cool, it is what it is," and even breaks down like, sometimes it hurts when it happens, but like I roll with it because I know this is a new thing. So like, you just get the understanding all around. You get these situations and the questions that eat people up inside. There's no need to be afraid to say something or ask something if you mean it from a genuine place.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So that being said, I want to do something very, very fun that Dom has absolutely no clue coming. So I'm going to introduce you guys to a new segment that we're going to introduce, like I said, this week. This was absolutely inspired by a video I saw of I saw Jordan Peele on the Jimmy Fallon show, and I was like, you know what? This is something that I'm going to start doing each and every week over to Dom, and I'm going to put him on the hot seat. And I figured, what better way to do this? Again, and I want everybody to understand, Dom has absolutely no fucking clue what I'm about to talk about. He has no clue about this segment at all. But what I'm going to do is each week I'm going to give him a blind ranking. He's not going to be able to move the shifter rankings or anything like that. He's not going to know what the topic's about or anything like that. I figured, what better way to do this and kick this off than with the Halloween spirit, and for horror movies, right?
Okay.
So he's got to blind rank these movies. He cannot move them. He cannot shift them. He can't do anything. He has to be happy with his rankings at all. Okay, I've got 6 movies. No clue what any. Dom, you have any clue what the movies are?
No, and I'm kind of nervous now.
Exactly. So that being said, each week this is going to change. Each week this could be changed. Next week it could be French fries. It doesn't know. I don't know what I'm going to fucking do. But this week we're going to kick it off with horror movies, and the first movie that I'm going to make you rank is Psycho.
Ooh, shit. Psycho. That's like classic. That's like, oh man, that's that psychological meets like the Sick and Twisted and classic score. Because it's the first one, I'm gonna say 3.
All right. We got Psycho at 3. All right. Next movie, I'm gonna go with The Shining.
Ooh. So I watched. It's funny. I watched The Shining very late in life. Well, in my life so far, I'd always knew the references and stuff, but I didn't never watch the whole movie until like a couple years ago, and it holds up. I'm gonna say 2.
All right. We're taking care of the top spots already. I like it. Because then I just want you to get mad whenever something good pops up. You know what I mean? All right. For the next one, we're gonna go the OG original Saw.
I was just talking about this with my wife last night. Oh shit! Because that's like. I mean, that movie made me think like, man, you gotta be a good person because somebody could be watching you and they'll fucking snatch you up. Oh man, I wish I would. Okay, I gotta put it 4.
All right.
I wish it was higher, but
I know it's like an OG. Like that to me is like our generation. Like first, that's the ending of that movie. Is still one of the most shocking endings I've ever seen in my entire life ever.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. We've got 3 out of the way. We're gonna go the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, okay. So this is easy for me. I got a Freddy tattoo. I got a Freddy glove. He's one of my favorite villains of all time. That's number 1, dude. That's number 1. The fact that he's just like Art. He's murking you and making fun of you. He got the witty jokes, and it's cerebral. And it's in your mind and your sleep. Like you gotta sleep. And
exactly.
It's great. It's great.
Let's see. Get Out.
Shit. Oh, that's some. Okay. This is like, it's crazy because Get Out is like not just a good horror film. It's just a great film in general.
Yeah.
Damn it. It's gotta be 5 then. It's definitely not 6.
Yeah. Number 6, by default, is The Exorcist.
I don't know. Yeah, I know how people tout it as like one of the best horror movies of all time, along with like the Poltergeist. But exorcism movies do nothing for me because, boo, you're possessed. People are crazy anyway. Like it would just be a normal ass person. It didn't scare me when I was a kid. It don't scare me now.
Yeah,
it's made well. It really is. Classic score. Theme. I love the theme. The theme was one of my favorites. I think it's what the Tubular Bells is what it's called. Love it. My favorite horror movie original like song, but yeah.
I ain't mad at it. Look at that. So folks, I want to know how you would have ranked these 6 movies. I'm probably going to clip this, put it on social media. I'm going to do this to Dom every damn week so that he can get mad about something being ranked where he doesn't want it to be. Maybe I'll bring back 6 more horror movies next week. But I was inspired because and actually here I'll tell you how Jordan Peele's list ended up because he was like doing the same thing. He pulled out Get Out last, which was hilarious. So yours he had Nightmare on Elm Street at 1, which kind of surprised me. The Exorcist, then Psycho, The Shining, Get Out, and then Saw. Get Out was the last one. So but you had Psycho,
Mr. Jordan Peele.
But But yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
so fun
that's
little
a
segment.
that was tough.
Yeah, so that's fun. Like I said, something that I want to, just kind of do weekly and have a little bit of fun. Add some fun little segments to the show. But this week should be interesting. Dom, are you going to see Smile too?
Yes, I am gonna see Smile too. I've heard nothing but good things. Unfortunately, the screening is so damn far. Um, hopefully, it's worth it because this is about an hour, almost an hour out of my way to see this movie. Um, so yeah, I love the first one. I think the concept is really cool. It's very different because, like, you know, despite what people may believe about the horror genre, it's a very creative genre, but it is very hard to figure out what is going to scare people without doing the same old things all the time. And dealing with like trauma and things of that sort is very topical, but is very hard to do. And I think they did a pretty good job the first time. So this one, since it seems to be even more centered around a singular person than the first one, this should be interesting.
Yeah, the reason I'm not going is because where it's at. But I do have a busy week. I was on vacation last week, and then this week I am got to work, and then next week I'm in LA for a whole week. So I leave Monday. I'm in Monday to Monday. So I've got probably I don't know, like a dozen films that I'm going to see while I'm out in LA during the festival. So it's going to be a pretty packed week. But nonetheless, we will be back maybe next week. Or no, we'll be back Sunday. We will be back Sunday. I will probably see the movie though before we do the podcast because I'm interested to see. I've heard good things. I do think that the runtime of like 2 hours and 14 minutes, whatever it is absolutely stupid as hell. Isn't it like 2 hours 14 or some shit?
Something like that.
It's like Smile Dose. It is 2 hours and 7 minutes. So yeah,
And
two
I
hours
got
for her
so
movie.
many movies to catch up on. Since
Yeah.
doing that film festival, my routine of how I was going to the movies was thrown off, trying to work on some stuff and doing interviews. I've been behind. There's at least 6 movies in theaters that I want to see that I haven't seen, which kind of I feel like I'm playing catch up now. But it's all good.
Yeah, it's packed. And to be honest with you guys, you're gonna hear me talk about it a little bit this week. I got a solo review dropping forward. But Your Monster drops in theaters on Friday. Perfect date night movie. Go see that movie. Go support
Yes.
that movie, please. Type of independent movie that I would love people to see. Watch The Penguin if you're already not. But before we go, as we do each and every week, Dom, you have some parting words for our listeners.
Yeah, so I had a slight conversation with an old pal, and this conversation has popped up before. And he says something about I don't like to watch TV with too much politics in it because I watch TV to get away from that stuff. And a lot of the shows he feels are checking off boxes. Well, my rebuttal to that is these people that you claiming that they're checking off a box, they exist. Um, I'm sorry that like the show sprinkled in a gay person or sprinkled in a trans person or sprinkled in more than one black person or brown person or whatever. And I'm not saying that's what he was complaining about, but these are the complaints that we hear from people. And everything in life is political, man. I'm sorry. Everything is political. It may not be a grandstand political statement, but everything is political from what we watch to what we wear to what we listen to. Every aspect of life is somewhat political, and that's just part of it. And the shows are not necessarily trying to check out boxes, but they're trying to catch up to say, we messed up in the past, and these people need a voice. And it just happens that you went through your whole life seeing black shows and white shows, and now we're getting everything. And that's just what it is. So get comfortable because you're going to see more of it because more voices are being heard, more stories are being told. And that's a beautiful thing because we need to hear from every walk of life, because life is different for everybody. So open your mind up and welcome in new ways of thinking, because life is more than what you see with your own two eyes. There's other eyes, other feet to be walked in, and you got to experience life from all sides to say that you're a full person. So I'll keep it at that.